Jean Schiavone, thank you so much for coming on to talk about being a world-famous ballet photographer. So how did you gain access into the ballet world?
My wife, she was very involved in American Ballet Theater in New York, probably for 20 years. I was never interested, never involved. She said one day, I have to go to a fundraiser with her in New York, and I did. And I sat next to some of the dancers, and they were really interesting people. And she got me to go to a performance. And I saw the dancers on stage, and because I met them, it became very interesting. It became a connection because I talked to them and I saw them on stage. So it was more interesting than just going without that.
Where have you traveled? Where have you shot?
In the last year and a half, I've been to London, Milan, La Scala, Prague, St. Petersburg, Russia. I travel around a lot in the within the country. Just got back from 5 days in California with a Russian company performing out in Southern California.
You also said you like working with young dancers. Why?
I like the energy. I started a couple of years ago doing sessions, private sessions with young dancers. I started when we were in Florida. Mm-hmm. There was a great studio in Naples, Florida, and I put something on Facebook, and I said, well, let's see if somebody wants to do something, and I was flooded with requests. So I've decided I'd do 4-hour private sessions, a number of costume changes, from audition photographs, headshots, to just more creative things. I do a lot of commercial studio work, but it's for a specific product or job. These here are more artistic, I guess.
Well, congratulations on your act too, because it's just awesome. And thanks for making the world a more beautiful place by taking all these photographs. Thanks so much for coming on, Jean.
It was great, thanks.
Appreciate it.
So what we're going to try to do today is work on the photographs that you brought. And what will happen is these will be starting points, the photographs that you brought. Yeah. But what will happen is we'll make them your photographs. So we'll start with that. And then what typically happens is that we move positions a little bit, or I'll ask you to move your arm or your shoulder, or maybe you look to the right instead of to the left. And we'll go through this a lot, and it'll take a long time. But when we finish it, it'll be your photograph. It won't be this photograph. We try to make everything a little distinctive. We spend a lot of time working on the lights. So we'll take some photographs, I'll adjust the lights. We'll take some more photographs, I'll adjust the lights again. Then we'll go to try to get the position, but your finger will be off, but your toe won't be pointing quite as much. And we'll just keep doing it until you and I both agree that this is the photograph that we like. And then when we get to that, we'll move on to the next thing. But it might take a long time to get from here to there. And it's called work. We just have to work at it. So this is kind of a partnership. And if I take a photograph and show you and you don't like it, you have to say to me, I don't like that photograph. And I won't be offended. Okay. And if I take a photograph of you and I don't like it, I'm going to say, this isn't working. So that's the deal we have to make. And then we'll go to work and see what happens. Because all these sessions are individualized, I like to have a conversation with the person several days before we come. So I'll always ask that the dancer give me a phone call, and we'll talk about the various things we're going to try to do, the costumes we're going to wear, what type of photograph she's looking for. Everybody has a different idea in terms of what they want. Do you need audition photographs? Do you need headshots? You just want ballet portraits? We're going to try to do some interesting things, some photographs that don't look like everyone else's photographs. That's kind of the goal. And when someone comes in, the first thing we do is we sit down and we talk over here at this table. And look at samples that you'll bring. I ask everyone to bring samples of things they'd like to do. And we'll discuss what works and what doesn't work. And once I have an idea of what you're looking for, I'll start to formulate how I'm going to light it, because everything in photography is about lighting. So we'll pick one thing to start with. We'll pick out one of the costumes that you brought, or one of the costumes that I have. I always have some dresses and tutus and various flowy things that show movement. Ballet is about movement, so I don't enjoy taking pose shots. I like shots that are, I'd rather photograph you going through a movement than try and have you hold it and pose something. So we'll talk about that. It's a lengthy process that most people don't understand. I'll put you on the mark. I will set some lights around you. I will take some test shots. I will adjust some lights. I'll take some more test shots. I'll adjust the lights again. And then we'll go for, once I think the lighting is okay, to what we're trying to do. I will then start shooting for form. And that takes a long time because, as you know, in ballet, it has to be perfect. You can't have an almost perfect shot. So with the people I photographed today, the first thing I said, would you want that photograph on Facebook? And if the answer is no, then we have to do it again. And if the answer is, well, gee, that looks pretty good, well, we have to do it again. Because it has to be perfect. If it's not perfect, you don't want it out there, I don't want it out there. And most people realize at the end of the time that we're spending that it's a long process to get one photograph. You just don't come in and take a couple of shots and I got it and move on. So that's why I ask for 4 hours. Sometimes I go to 5 hours. Because by changing costumes, changing your hair, resting in between, drinking some water, eating some snacks, it takes a long time. So the minimum I'll do is 4 hours with someone. Or maybe a 5-hour session with 2 people, but it takes time to get into a rhythm of working with someone. So to work with someone a little bit and then switch to another person, you mess up the momentum. You have to start all over again. It's a time-consuming process. Time translates to money. I realize it's more expensive the more time, but if you want a good product, you need to spend the time with it.